Hello and welcome to this interesting episode of Supply Chain Maturity and Complexity Level with Chinido. Today we'll be looking at the final and the last level of maturity in the supply chain. Do not forget, from the beginning we said the aim of this is to understand what you do as an organization in terms of understanding your current maturity level, highlighting the desired state you want to get to, and how to close the gap in between. We've looked at the four different evolution levels before now: the multiple dysfunction, the semi-functional enterprise, the integrated enterprise, the extended enterprise as well. And today we'll be talking about the orchestrated supply chain. Now this is a consistent and systematic supply chain because again it involves a holistic and integrated management approach, right? So such that every part of the supply chain is synchronized, the processes are synchronized from the supplier's supplier down to the customer's customer, right? So just envisage a chain, right, of command and look at the raw material, being used for that process down to the finished item. Everything in between is planned for here. Efficiency is improved. There's nothing like silos because again, this is not just within an organization, right? It extends beyond that. So you have dealings with partners and relevant stakeholders. The usage of AI and data very key to aid a very effective collaboration between every stakeholder in the supply chain. Now here, performance is optimized clearly because that's the only thing that can happen eventually, right? So like I said, data has integrity, and not just having integrity, but that integrity as well is being used in decision making. Yeah, so you're sure of that. Improvement and change management teams are cross-functional, and both technically and socially skilled. So everyone have basic understanding of what the other person is, handling in the organization. So it's easy for change management to happen. It's easy for improvement management as well to happen. So you have the IT guys who don't just understand coding and code, but they also understand the core of the business and they know what to do. Same with the product and vice versa, right? The people with the business knowledge also understand the product and the engineering part of it as well. Sourcing is right sized, but very resilient. And this goes for product as well because the designs here are inclusive. So you don't just come to establish a product to go to a market which you know, rather it's much inclusive, and that's why it's right size. So you're bringing out the right product at the right time, at the right level at which it should be, executed in the market. Processes are shared, policies are enforced, and automation is very common here. Similar with the extended enterprise we saw previously, here you can see the same chain of command, right, from suppliers down to customers, and this is a graphical representation of what is involved. They have payment flows and how materials flow as well, right? So materials and product flows from supplier down to the final user, and then the reverse is the shows the payment cycle as well as the reverse product flow too. Now here you have the benefits summarized, right? So is data driven. There's better risk management here. It's team driven. It's not just a particular person. That is very important to note. It's an inclusively designed supply chain. So not just waking up and making a decision. No, because it's data driven, of course. Every department is involved, not just department, every stakeholder from the supplier down to the customer's customer. Infuse all this together and then make a decision, right? So gaps are addressed for you to visibility. It's also very change ready, and this is one key part to note here. It's change ready, so when things go wrong, when things goes north or south, there's a plan for it. It's very proactive, so it's not when it goes wrong you start having to plan for it. As many supply chains are built today, right? So just a few operate in this level where it's ready to take up every hit and it can plan towards it. So there's better risk management as well. Resiliency level is very high, and this is something to note here. And these are just few examples, right? An automotive manufacturing, company that aligns with raw materials procurement and the vehicle production and delivery thing, right? So again, to make it one, there's that fusion. So you can have, for instance, a retail giant like Jumia in Africa or Amazon, you know, and then they synchronize the operations. So from the sourcing of the product to the last mile delivery, not just taking charge of last mile, right, but every chain. You can picture, say, Malcolm, for instance, right, or Shoprite as well, right. So imagine getting involved in sourcing of the product down to the last mile delivery. And the aim is to meet a particular demand. That's the demand of the customer. So because again, it's an integrated flow of information, so it makes it much more easier. And that is what this looks like, right? And thank you so much for watching and for listening in. Again, this is just what this level of supply chain entails. Now you know better to see where your supply chain lies and how can you make it better. Feel free to drop your question, your comment, and watch out for the next series coming soon. Thank you and take care.